So you're planning a trip to Canada, or more precise, to Western Canada this year, and you're planning to see Vancouver. So bet you might have thought about where I should eat in Vancouver this summer, this spring, or whenever you go. So I'll have you covered in this video. Buckle up, because we're about to embark on a mouth-watering journey about 5 great spots in Vancouver. Before we start into the main content of this video, 5 restaurants I recommend dearly to try out, I need to talk about something important here. Vancouver is well known for its food scene, and it's well known for its fusion food. Not only for the scenic views and the stunning mountains and the lakes and the sparkling waters and the wildlife and so on and so forth, but also food-wise, it's one of the best cities you can go to. And therefore, it's quite important that you make beforehand your research and look where to go, what you can eat, what meets your taste buds. And in my point of view, it really can make a difference to make or break a holiday experience. And it's not only food that you can experience there, but also various breweries, and it's a plethora of things you can do and experience there, from food tours, food trucks, whatever you name it. And what I can give you on the way here is I learning the hard way in Vancouver. It can change the perception of your holidays if you're not finding the right spots to eat. And mostly they're a bit more hidden. And that's also part of my philosophy, to find and show you the lesser known places. And what happened was that we went to Canada with my oldest daughter when she was 2.5 years old. And we just went with the flow. We didn't check beforehand where to go, what to eat. We just knew from previous travels, oh, there's a good place, or there and there. But we didn't take into account. We have to specify a bit more and look, is there anything that might be nice for her, right? That is more family friendly, and also not as costly. So we ended up eating in places that were just around the corner. We just walked into, and we ended up actually eating in a chain restaurant, or various chain restaurants. I don't want to blame them or bash them, but some of them are really good, but usually it's not like you can really get the flavor of the city, but especially Vancouver can offer. And that's when I said to myself, if you end up at places, so if you go into holidays and your food experience isn't as nice as all the other stuff, it can change the whole perception. For example, if somebody eats something bad in a hotel and gets food poisoning, his view of the holidays is totally different. He only sees the illness, the sickness that he got because he was there, and totally blinds out that the holidays itself were great, actually, right? And that's what I've learned from this experience. And going forward, I always have checked beforehand where you could go, where you could eat, what are nice places. And that's also where, around that time, where the idea came up for myself as well. I want to show people where they can go to see places, lesser known places, to avoid crowds, find these hidden gems, also restaurant-wise. And I know it makes a whole lot of difference. That's why I decided I want to do the legwork. I want to do the research. And that's where you might say, all right, wait a minute. Should I trust a Swiss guy that doesn't live in Vancouver or in Western Canada about the food scene? Well, what I do or did, and also I've done for others, is I did the legwork. Meaning I went through all the research and got my own perspective, and also where I was thinking of what would fit the budget, because I'm of the opinion the best food doesn't always come from the Michelin star restaurant. It can be a food truck or something simple, a comfort food place. And it's one of my things that I really pressure to add to people's itineraries, that they need to see certain places, also restaurants. because I want to make their trips or also our trips unforgettable. Like I mentioned before, my added value here is that you can avoid these mistakes I made, and that you know to prepare yourself beforehand to find great places, and that it mustn't be always the high-end restaurant. It could be simply a food stand at the harbor with great fish and chips, and you already feel yourself like you're being in heaven, right? I don't want to hold you off much longer, and now I want to start with you the restaurants I recommend, and it's part 1. So stick with me for next week's or week after. I come with the second part. There are much more restaurants awaiting you, and Vancouver is huge. One thing, and then we really start no worries. One thing you really need to consider is, I recommend when you're in Vancouver, if it's possible budget-wise, that you rent a car, because it opens the possibilities and opportunities so much further, and you can see much more places. So that's why I'm asking you, consider renting a car or not. So first on the list, we talk about the Red Umbrella Coffee. That place is a breakfast and brunch place, which offers you food from 8:30 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. It offers great hearty food, from pancakes to toast to potatoes and egg benedict, and it's very filling as well. It's really scrumptious to be there. You always eat there when we're in Vancouver having breakfast, because at most places in Vancouver, if you book a hotel, Airbnb or whatever, especially hotels, you won't have breakfast included. So it's a great way to start your day with a hearty breakfast. It is close to English Bay. I show afterwards a map of the location, and you will get satisfied. There's something for every type. We will be filled, and what we did is usually we get there, have a great portion of breakfast, and we then usually don't eat any lunch anymore. So it is enough for the whole day until dinner time. So it's a great place. It's small, it's tiny, but it's quaint, and it's a great place to start your adventures in Vancouver. A great spot, as it's close to the English Bay. Stanley Park is next by too, and also if you would like to see Granville Island, it's also around the corner. So overall, really, really good place, and we only could recommend it. So next we talk about sushi in Vancouver. If you're a sushi lover like we are, then having sushi in Vancouver is a must. There are several great places, some cheaper, some more expensive. The one I recommend is Miku. It's situated along the Burrard Inland, and it's just steps away from Cole Harbour, and it's located next to the famous Fairmont Waterfront Hotel, and it's easy accessible from all over the city, which makes it a great spot to have sushi. And it's famous for its unique blend of aburi-style cuisine, and when you're in the restaurant, you get rewarded with stunning views of the waterfront and the mountains. If you prefer a less expensive restaurant that offers great sushi too, is the Sushi California. That is also located in downtown Vancouver. It offers great sushi without breaking a bank, and it's a great option also for families because you get quite a portion for what you order. So you won't leave that restaurant hungry. Your taste buds will be satisfied. I promise you that. I show you afterwards some pictures of it that you get an idea, and also the location. And in our point of view, it was a full of success, and our kids loved it, which is a big deal, right? This is one of the points you need to consider traveling with a family. You're not only looking for yourself, but you need to make sure that the spots you choose will also be great for your children. Budget is one thing, of course. And next on the list, and that's what I mentioned before, it mustn't be always these super fancy, trendy restaurants. It could also be something more down to earth. And one of the great places that I loved really much and is a great option is the Downlow Chicken Shack in Vancouver. It's a popular spot for fried chicken lovers in Vancouver. It's south of downtown Vancouver, and that's what I meant. If you have the option, renting a car, this would be a great spot. and you will be out of the city. And it has and is famous and has been serving some of the best fried chicken since 2005. You get various type of chicken food, from burgers to sandwiches and sides. And it has and features this classic southern style fried chicken, and it's super delicious, super juicy as well. And I bet it will satisfy your cravings. And if you don't want to eat there and would like to bring your food along to a more special spot with a nicer view, you can also take out and enjoy your meal at another spot outside, maybe close to the sea. Next on the list, we talk about the Deepwater Micro Eatery in Deep Cove. And this is one great example we stumbled on when we visited Capilano Suspension Bridge, and we wanted to eat at a place that is close by, so we didn't have to travel for a very long time. It's one of the great places which offers great comfort food. It is very delicious, and it's close to the beach side at Deep Cove. Price-wise, it's very reasonable, and you get a lot of fresh food, also local stuff. It's tiny, it's quaint, and it might be when it's hot outside. That's what we experience. When you're inside, it might be a little bit too cramped and hot, but you get rewarded with great food. Our kids loved it a lot, and they were super happy. And we had various options there, from tacos to burgers, and what was the other thing? Caesar salad, I think. And it was really one of these situations where we all sat, that's a great hidden gem. You wouldn't have touched or found that spot if you would have stayed in downtown Vancouver, and you would have totally missed out this place. And what else is great about this restaurant is the fact that it's close to the beach. So if you need to walk a bit to make your tummy happy after eating that much, you might thinking of combining a visit to this restaurant with a hike to the Quarry Rock, which is a great hike for families as well. Or if you think of seeing the beach in Deep Cove, which is less crowded than other beaches in Vancouver, that you can combine it with that and have a great ending of the day, for example, in a cozy spot which feels really friendly. So totally something we can recommend. And last but not least on the list, we talked about the Stanley Park Brewing restaurant, which is, in our point of view, a great spot as well, because you can combine it. For example, we rented bicycles to tour the Stanley Park, and then you might think of making a stop at the restaurant before returning back the bicycles to fill up your tummy with some great comfort food, or bring back the bicycles and head over to the restaurant with some nice food options. We might combine it with some of the different beers that they offer. You can even make a beer tasting, for example. And beer is quite good if you're into beer. I am. And it's again a restaurant with great comfort food. It's not too expensive, so we won't break the bank here either. And the kids will be happy because on the menu there's something for everybody. And it's quite a relaxed atmosphere. And if you're with kids there, the great thing is it's right in next to a park. So you can go out, kids can run around, they don't need to be stuck to the table where they might get a bit annoyed. We all know the situation, right? And you can let them roam free. Of course, you always need to have them nice side, you know that. But nonetheless, it's a great spot to end the day, especially when it's warm out there. And what you can think of too, they have a beer garden, so might consider having your meal at the beer garden, and might happen to stumble into a wedding like we did. So you got to have some action there just around the corner. But still, it's another great example of eating out without being heavy on your budget. Then it's something that you can access with or without the car, which is great too. For those of you who don't want to rent the car, it's a great sport for families. So it fills many of the boxes. So that brings us slowly to the end. To summarize, in the first part of this series, I talked about Red Umbrella Coffee. I just wanted to say Red Umbrella Academy again. Then the Miku Restaurant for having great sushi in Vancouver. Alternatively, you can go to Sushi California. We talked about the Downlow Chicken Shack, well known for its fried chicken in Vancouver. Then we spoke about the Deepwater Micro Eatery and the Stanley Park Brewing Restaurant. What all these places have in common is the fact that all of them have and offer great food and for a good price. So you really get a lot for your money. And they're all great spots for people that are traveling with their children. What's next on the list? So we will talk about in the next video about other 5 restaurant options in and around Vancouver that you must try, which are really great. And then of course, in another video, I will talk about some great things you can do in Vancouver. If you're having kids or without kids, that doesn't matter. Great options for both types. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you know more restaurants, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments if you like the video and want to tell me what I should improve. As you might know, my native language is in English, and as I have started YouTubing just recently, and if not everything is perfect, so I appreciate your support. If you hit that subscribe button, I thank you very much for spending your time with me. I wish you a great day, take care, and have fun eating yourself through Vancouver. Goodbye.